You have such an interesting path. I mean, I feel like I've only recently met you, and the very first time I talked to you, I was just like, who is this woman? I mean,
Feeling is mutual.
Powerful, fearless, just super connected. And I was just like, what is she doing? How does she hone in on that power? Have you always just been super sure of yourself and full of this light?
Of course not.
Where does this come from?
Hell no. I was a hot ass mess as a kid. Come on, like teenager. And I think that in order to really hone in on, and because everyone has this power.
Yes,
everyone has power. Everyone has this thing within them that, and this voice that's connected to something bigger, regardless of if you're super religious, but like there is like a universal thing that we're all connected to. And I like to call it source. Amen. Source, God, universe, Allah, Jah, whoever, Buddha. But like, it's also like our internal modem that we have here. So source is within us, right? So a lot of times we spend a lot of times like breaking that off, and we take our God that's within us and put it into money. We put it into our home. We put it into people. We put it into things, and we take that away from us. So when I realized, I was like, why the fuck do I feel so jaded and so empty and like so filled with fear? I was like, where does that come from? I started to ask myself those questions. And by like realizing the darker parts of myself, I had to release that. And I had to have things, I had to have life literally kick the shit out of me, get to rock bottom before, which was honestly, like rock bottom, honesty was the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my entire life. And I think that's necessary for anyone that wants to make a change. Like, do you necessarily have to like hit the bottom? No.
Yeah.
But I had to deal with a lot of, I grew up really fast.
What was your rock bottom?
I've had a few. And I don't think that life gets easier. I think life is hard, but it's all about perspective, right? Sure. But you get better and you get stronger. So I grew up in a home where my father was homeless. I burned down my house on accident when I was like mad young.
You burned down the house?
Bitch, yes.
Whoa.
Watching Neopets. You guys remember Neopets? You remember Neopets?
Yeah,
the 90s game?
Yeah.
Okay, so that used to be my crack. I was on the computer, nobody could tell me anything. I used to be like, guys, I need my coins. Close the door. Like, I'm on my coins. So
were
my
you
brother.
Here in the U.S.?
This was in Chicago.
This is Chicago, okay.
While I am Liberian. And my brother was supposed to be babysitting me, but he wanted to go be with his little friends. So I was home alone, and I got really hungry.
Right.
And I was like, I want to make something. Like, mommy always like makes eggs. I know she like puts like oil and stuff. So I put oil in a skillet on a gas stove and let it sit. And then I hear like this beeping, and I'm like, God damn it. I'm like trying to play my Neopets. And I walk out and there's smoke everywhere.
Whoa.
Long story short, it wasn't a house, it was a condo that we owned. Condo burnt down. Okay. And so in my life, so my dad never really picked up from that point. Wow. And my dad was my like rock, everything. He like drove a cab, was living in his cab, and was paying my Catholic school tuition, was still like knocking on the door every morning to pick me up for school to make sure I did my homework. So that made my parents divorce.
So where were you living at this time? The house is burnt down.
The house is burnt down.
Dad's living in the car.
Yeah.
Where were you living?
My mom she was a nurse at the time, still is a nurse. So I think she figured it out, but like they shipped me out to New Jersey to like live with my aunt and uncle. And I was like this rebellious child, so I got kicked out of New Jersey. They were like, no, take her back.
Whoa.
Okay, so I go back home and I live with my mom. And my mom and I were like okay, but my dad was like really the biggest part of my life. So fast forward, watching my dad struggle earlier this year, my father passed away.
Yeah.
But he was such a wealth of like optimism and positivity and like I never felt poor growing up. And I was I wasn't living like how I am now and like doing what I was doing. So I never felt like I didn't have enough. I always felt like I had more than enough. And so watching him be in that situation, and he's driving with the cab, and he's like blasting like African music to drive me to school, and like we're having a good time. So I never even viewed it as a thing that like was different, but I knew that it wasn't, like I had friends that were driving Ferraris and BMWs, so I'm like.
And you were pulling up in a taxi cab.
Yeah, my
New York
dad was
City,
dropping me off in Chicago, and I'm like, can you drop me off at the corner? Like, I don't want people to know my dad's a cab driver.
So there was a shame attached to that.
There was a shame attached to that.
Yeah.
So dealing with those things and like really addressing that kind of shit, I think that was my strength. I wouldn't necessarily say that was a rock bottom, but watching my dad be who he was, so positive, so brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me look at people differently, like in their predicaments. It's like, no, like you can have a PhD and still be on the street. Shit can happen. Life can get tough. But like, do you choose joy or do you choose or sadness, you know? What do you do with your circumstance? Do you sit and do you cry and do you say, you know what, like my life sucks, like wow, I really got the short end of the stick? Or do you say, why is this happening to me? So I started to ask myself, why was I given this life?
Yeah.
Am I strong enough? Like clearly I can carry the burden, so I'm capable of enduring this. So what do I do with my circumstance? How do I give back to people and be the voice for girls that are going through the same?
Well, now you're being a voice for girls. You're doing that in so many ways.
Yeah.
You're on your way to Senegal.
Yeah.
And how did that happen?
Honey, I was in a high yin class, and this is gonna sound crazy. I just was like, and I told my friend Anisha about this too. It was like in class, and something was just like, you need to get out. And that week I was already like, I did this for Puerto Rico. I moved to Puerto Rico on a whim, and just because it felt right. And I wouldn't be who I am had I not lived in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
I moved to New York within 2 weeks of coming here and not knowing anyone because I had this dream of modeling and being on billboards. And it was just like there was an internal compass, something connected to something that knew that this is where I needed to be. So I'm having that same feeling and that same emotion towards Senegal. And I think that I want to bring something back there. And I'm half Senegalese, and I want to do something. There's something that needs to be done for me there. Do I know what it is? No.
No, you don't yet.
Is it a huge risk? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But there's nothing greater than the fucking reward, and I'm so excited, and I'm just going.
I'm so excited. You have lived from the inside out, allowing your heart, your soul to guide you to amazing, amazing moments. And I always think if you live by the principle of fear, you will never know what's on the other side of that fear.
Absolutely, yeah.
You will only know what's on this side, which is all the thoughts, all the worry, all of the what if, all of the regret.
Totally.
But when you jump over that, and you have conquered that in many different ways, but when you jump over that fear, that's when you see the magic.
Yeah, and the discomfort, it always ends. It always ends. The darkest hour is always right before dawn.
Wow.
So it's like it always ends. Like I lost my father this year.
Yeah.
And wow, that was so traumatic. Traumatic.
Oh, I know.
You know, and I know that you experienced the same thing. But I made a choice. I said, every step that I take, I've arrived. And every day that I do something, because a lot of people think their time is so promised. Like, I'm just gonna go to Africa when I'm 50. Fuck that. You're 25, 24, your body is able. Like, don't focus on what society, like these restraints that society puts on you. Like, you have to be this, you have to have your 401k to do this, you have to do this, you have to have a PhD to like open your fucking mouth to talk about business. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do it today. Do it today. If you are having the idea to do something, you need to do it. Your mind is its own governor. If you can see it in your mind's eye, it's a reality for you. Now you just need to believe it and move your fucking feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said.
And I believe it.
I believe it, and I believe in you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
So you're gonna walk me through a guided meditation.
Yeah, like a little meditation. It's something that is really very much so part of my day. I like to meditate at least 20 minutes to 45, sometimes 2 hours a day, if I have the time. So I just want you to place your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. And I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just take a deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale from the mouth. Notice how your shoulders relax a little bit more. Another deep inhale. Exhale. Just notice the thoughts that come in your mind. Any sort of anxieties you may be feeling. Sensations in the body. Sounds. Smells. Just notice that. Resist the urge to fidget. Really focus on being still. And allow your shit to come up.
If you don't see truth, don't see God's path for you. Rest your feet on solid ground.
Place the hands on the tops of your knees.
If you walk astray, if you lose your faith,
Gently blink the eyes open.
feels like your light is gone.
Feel more calm?
Oh yeah.
If you
Right?
can't go,
That's good.
My soul sister.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I seriously love you.
I love you.
oh, when your spirit